george+lakoff. I'm sure many of you know his work and his reputation. George+lakoff was a very eminent and influential linguist and a precocious linguist who eventually turned his attention to politics. His book, Moral Politics, is among the most important and suggestive political work out there. He is, to my mind, especially valuable because he's one of a vanishing breed, that is the public intellectual, who is extremely learned and technically proficient, but knows how to write in a language that ordinary people can understand. I appreciate that very much. So I'm very pleased that he's here tonight to talk about his new book. This is his 5th political book. It's called The Political Mind, and in it he combines the insights of cognitive science and linguistics to try to shed light on our political situation, and God knows we need that light. He's going to speak for 20 minutes or so, and then the rest of the event will be Q&A, so you can ask questions. He will answer them. And then if you get yourselves copies of his book, he'll be glad to sign them. So please join me in welcoming George+lakoff.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you all for coming. Okay. There we go. Not as far down as for Robert Reich, but this book is it's a special book for me because it combines 2 parts of my life. I've been working as a cognitive scientist and linguist for 43 years. It's amazing if I count back, but it's since 1963. And I've been writing about politics since 1996, so it's about 12 years. Applying the cognitive science and linguistics to the politics, but not mentioning the cognitive science and linguistics in the previous books. Previous books just explain what's going on, without any of the scientific trappings and so on. But I think there are very good reasons for bringing the science into it, and I want to talk about that today. And the book goes through what has been discovered about the brain and the mind in the past 30 years that almost nobody knows. If you read the science pages of the New York Times, you will not find out about most of these things. And if you do, it's one shot at a time, and then it's never on the front page, and certainly never in the politics. But all of it matters for politics, and I want to try to tell you why. And I want to say one more thing, though it goes through all that, it's readable. I worked on it. My editor had me rewrite it beginning to end 3 times until she could understand it. All right? And it was a lot of work, and it's worth it. The best way to enter into the discussion has to do with the history of our democracy. Our democracy came out of the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment had marvelous, important ideas like freedom, like equality, like democracy itself, and many other crucial political ideas. It also came with a view of reason, which was very important in 1660, because before that there was a lot of horrible superstition going on. Some of it's still around, but a lot of it gone by now, thank goodness. But it came with a view of the mind that has stuck, and it's become part of our popular culture and part of the Democratic Party. And it turns out that that view of the mind has certain problems, which I want to talk about. But here's what it is. This is the 18th century brain stuff. It is widely assumed that reason is conscious, that you know what you think. It's widely assumed that reason is dispassionate, that emotion gets in the way of reason, that reason just fits the world. You can reason about the world as it is in itself, and that it's logical. If you just tell people the facts, they will reason to the right conclusion. That it is abstract, disembodied, and that it's universal, that everybody has the same reason. It's what makes us human, and that the function is to serve self-interest. That the reason we have reason is to serve our interests. That is the Enlightenment view of reason. It's fairly widespread. You may have heard some of these things. Some of you may even believe it. I was raised with it. Every part is false. Every single part. Let's talk about why and why it's important. It's false first because most reason is unconscious, about 98%. It's what your brain is doing when you're conscious of all sorts of other things, but you can't be conscious of certain aspects of reason. Some of them are just so deep in the workings of the brain that there's no possibility for being conscious of it as it's happening. However, you can learn how it works. And that's what we do. We study the details of how the brain and mind work unconsciously. And that unconscious reason structures your conscious reason in ways you are not aware of. And our job is to make you aware of them. Now, the second part has to do with disembodiment. It turns out reason is not disembodied at all. You think with your brain. You have no other choice. Now, you may think certain politicians think with other parts of their anatomy, but even they think with their brains. Now, what does it mean to think with your brain? It means that you've got a bunch of neurons. Well, how do neurons think? How do you get ideas out of neurons? Well, for the past 20 years, I've been working at the International Computer Science Institute on the Neural Computation Project there as co-director with Jerry Feldman, who is the person who first figured out how neurons can compute. And what we have done is basically figured out how it works. Amazing that this is possible. I didn't have believed 20 years ago we could have gotten as far as we do. It's not, we haven't figured everything out, but we've figured out a lot. We have basic ideas about it. I can tell you about some of it in the next 15 minutes, but a lot more is in the book. And it's in the book in a form you can understand. And even my editor can understand. Now, she's pretty sharp, but pretty sharp. Now, the big thing about this is because it's physical and because your neural system is doing it, you don't fit the world directly. All ideas you have to do with what your neural system can do, and it's not a general person system. It's not general purpose. It's not something that you can have just any idea at all. Your ideas are structured by the way your brain functions to run your body. That's a major discovery. In detail, we know a lot about the details of how that works. The way your body works through your brain is crucial for our concepts. And that's not obvious. And what that means is that reason doesn't fit the world in itself. You're always being filtered through what your brain can do. Always. You have no choice. Okay? Now, what about emotionality? We're told that the perfectly rational person is Mr. Spock, who has no emotions and is completely rational. It's the reverse. What's been discovered is that if you have a brain injury, and many people do, have brain injuries that take away their capacity for feeling emotion, they can't function rationally at all. Let me tell you why, and it's a very simple thing to understand. Suppose you had such a brain injury. Suppose you could not feel any emotion or know any emotion that any other person felt. How would you know what to want? How would you know if you'd like it, not like it, what is like and not like? And not only that, how would you know if people would hate you for it or like you for it or be angry